Hi, everybody. I'm back. I'm back, and I'm less sad, and I'm happy. And I'm a little shook. I'm a little surprised at how much just sharing those two stories, and I left out even some details that it still got me all kind of worked up like that. I mean, I don't know how much you could really tell in the episode, but like it brought me down. I was all bummed out for trivia, but I'm back. I'm up. I'm woke. I'm lit. Let's go. It's episode 4. Episode 4 of Unsolicited Advice. And I could not be more excited and more happy to now share all the great stuff that happened that year, starting with the breakup. The breakup happened, and while the breakup was happening, there was family stuff going on, which I could just leave out. I could share. It doesn't matter. But I had 2 breakdowns during the month of February leading up to her moving out that were pretty huge, and leading to her moving out, right? So we're already breaking up, and I'm having freakouts. And for some reason at the time, I'm confiding a lot in my boss, Charles Carter. Shout out to Charles. Love you, buddy. Hope you're doing well. You were on my last show. Maybe I'll have you again on this one. Probably not, tell you the truth. But I was confiding him a lot, and he gave me advice. And the advice was that you're hurting right now, but your mom probably needs you a lot right now, and you need to be strong for her, and you also need to be strong for your dad. And this was during the breakup, not during the incident over the summer. So him telling me that, it just really landed. I remember exactly where we were. We were at work in the AV closet, and yeah, he was just like, you know what, bro, you need to man up for your mom and your dad, and you don't have that much time to wallow in your self-pity, which I was doing. I was, any chance I got, I was just sitting around for 2 weeks. Before work, I would just stay in my bed and watch Netflix, and then after work, I would go get wasted and try to rebound, which I've debated a lot to talk about whether or not I should mention that during this podcast, but guess what? It's 2018. We're all adults. When you break up with somebody, it's nice to go find a hug from another individual. It's nice to just, flirt with another individual. It's nice to just try to move on, and however fast or not fast you want to do that. But I think it's good advice. So that's first tip. That's first unsolicited advice of the Unsolicited Advice podcast. You break up with somebody, rebound. Don't be gross. Don't be a hooah, as my Aunt Camille would say. R.I.P. Aunt Camille. Hooer. Just be a gentleman, but move on. Move on with your life. So that was huge. The advice, the rebounding, getting drunk in your own self-pity is nice. It's cute for a minute, but can't be doing that. The next thing that I did was I quit Grandview Cafe, and I quit Orange Theory. Quitting Grandview Cafe was because she worked there. So I went to Hadley's, a sister restaurant, and I started bartending. Bartending was huge, despite how much I hated working at Hadley's. It was a learning curve. It was something new to learn, and I think it really took my mind off the breakup, learning something new. I also think that not being in Grandview, not seeing her, and being at work late a lot made me not be able to drink, which was helpful because you can't be doing that all the time either. So then the next thing, and this is something I'll give her credit for, is that the girl I broke up with, when we were broken up, it was just done. There was no retouches on the romance. There was no coffees. There was no let's get a drink or something to talk about it. The day she decided to break up was the day we broke up. And I've had other breakups. I've had 2 other ones, including her, so 3 total. The other 2 were not like that. The other 2 were touch and go, coffees, dinners, mistakes, relapses. And I got to say, and I've had this conversation with other people, because other people think that you should have coffee, you should talk it out, you could see where it went wrong. I think the best way to see where it went wrong is to give it time. And if you give it time and you're not always thinking of, are we still, are we not, what's going on, that whole Ross and Rachel friends bullshit, time is the ultimate healer. And time has taught me a lot of the things that I did wrong in that relationship, and things I won't do again, hope. So, unsolicited advice number 2 and 3, time and not relapsing in the relationship, and then learning something new. Huge things. The other job I quit, Orange Theory. A job opened up at the mall for David's Tea. I love tea. It was more sales-oriented job. It was a supervisor position. I had to go on like 4 interviews to get it. So that took my mind off a lot of things. The interview process, I had to like iron my button down, bust out the old tie, something you don't have to do for restaurant jobs. Restaurant jobs, you can just kind of show up. And selling tea versus selling gym memberships. I believe in Orange Theory as a workout. I believe that it's a good place for people to be if you have the money to spend. But I felt like I was ripping people off. I was doing a lot of clerical work, which my dyslexic ADD ass is not built for. So it was a great opportunity to go to the mall, look pretty behind a counter, sell some tea. I loved it. I love tea. I also got to drink as much tea as I wanted, which I like because I'm obsessed with beverages. They were all organic. They were all awesome. It was cool. So that was great. And I would work doubles 5 days a week. I worked doubles. And actually, I guess kind of 6 days a week because I'd work brunch on Saturday. So yeah, I was working doubles almost every day, which is unsolicited advice. I think I'm at 4. Unsolicited advice number 4, going through a breakup, stay out of the house. My rent was really high. I needed money. The more I was home, the more I'd spend on rent. And I think it was just super helpful keeping busy, keeping your mind moving, because if you're always moving around, you can't get stagnant. And I think a lot of progress in moving on from upsetting events, tragedy, whatever it might be, is that people have a tendency to wallow and to sit down and stay still in the self-pity and the Netflix. Like when I was a freshman in college, I was bummed out that I was just like in a shitty dorm room and I didn't know anybody, so I'd watch a lot of Netflix. And guess what? Didn't really change much. But as soon as I got a job downtown and as soon as I got like a club, I joined the the MMA club, all that stuff. Progress is key. Staying moving. Not even if you're going, like they say, a good saying that I like to remember is no wind is favorable to a ship who does not have a port. And I get that. Like you can't just aimlessly go, right? And not have a port to sail home to. But you don't know where you're going unless you're moving, you know what I mean? It's a lot easier to steer something that's moving at a good speed than something that's at a stagnant, standstill. You can't move a boat that's sitting with no wind. Another dope saying, don't wait for the iron to be hot for striking. Make the iron hot by striking. It's badass if you think about like blacksmithing and welding, Lord of the Rings and such. So that's the other unsolicited advice. Keep it moving. I also got a workout buddy. I'd been out of the gym for a while. I do like to try to maintain an illusion of fitness. It's all for vanity, of course. Not out here playing sports or nothing. I ain't out here playing flag football. Working out builds confidence. Having a workout buddy who works out in a different way than you're used to is, again, touching on the learning. And at the time, the workout buddy and me, we weren't really friends. We were just doing this strictly as motivation to get in the gym. And when you first meet somebody and make a new connection, you're very loyal to that. Like you're very, he wants to go at 7. Okay, I better be there at 7. And if I'm not going to be there at 7, I better text him early and let him know that I got to push back to 7:30. And you're much more present and aware of a new relationship than, 5-6 months in where it's like, bro, let's just, skip this one. Let's just go get breakfast. Fuck. Breakfast. I'm not working on fixing how I say breakfast. I think it's just cute, kind of. But I think Justin's going to listen to this one, and he'll be ashamed if I don't try to correct it. So I think advice number 5, get to the gym. Advice number 6, make new relationships. While I was dating said person, it was very hard for me to, I don't want to, how do I say this? Sometimes you're dating a person and you're just involved with them. You know what I mean? There's not really space for you to make new relationships. There's not really time for you to get lunch with other people, make coffee with other people, or not make coffee, get coffee with other people. You're kind of very wrapped in the relationship. I've been in those kinds of situations before where, and maybe the next one I'll try to find a girl who doesn't need that, but at the time that's where I was. And now that I think about it, I might have needed it too at the time. And so when I got out of it, I started trying to connect and reconnect with some people who I'd fallen out of touch with. People who, I need people to be there for me. I just wanted to start making friends again, you know what I mean? And start having more of a life again outside of the relationship. and I was super excited to do so. So I start putting the call out for friends. I start trying to make friends wherever I can go. I start with my workout buddy, Kitchen. Shout out to Kitchen. I call Justin from the podcast from the first round from What to Do When You're 22. Me and him start hanging out with our friend, and then the two of us have a mutual friend named Sam Humbiza. We start hanging out with him. And the two of them are probably two of my best friends right now, and will be, I'm pretty sure, for the rest of our lives, pending some kind of crazy accident or falling out. I start hanging out with my boys that I've always had. My boys, Liam, Brian. Chandler comes back into the game. I start hanging out with my best friend Christina more, Alex, Steph, Tessa, Ricky, Aaliyah, people from the bar, and just things are moving. Things are clicking. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling strong. And then, I'm not making great money at the tea shop, but I'm learning, managing, in charge. That feels really good. That's a confidence booster. Being a bartender is a confidence booster. Counting your small wins is the next piece of advice. Making new connections, counting small wins. You feel badass when you're a bartender. You feel like you're the belle of the ball. You feel sexy. You feel cool. I found out I don't like bartending, but that's good too. I learned something again. I learned something about myself. You don't like bartending. You don't want to date a girl who, she would have let me have friends. It was just a challenge. It was just challenging. I wanted to be there for her. I wanted to, guys know that story. It's not a big story. It's not an unsurprising development. So, I don't know which number I'm at. July comes around. I'm leaving trivia. My friend Sam is sitting on the porch of 3rd and Hollywood, or on the patio of 3rd and Hollywood. I come up to have a drink. He's sitting with the managers of the place. He tells them I'm an excellent server and that they should hire me. I apply. They hire me. And now I'm at 3rd and Hollywood. 3rd and Hollywood is, I'm still at the tea shop, but 3rd and Hollywood is excellent money. It's fine dining. I have to show up solid every day. I got to show up with my shirt ironed. I got to show up with clean apron, clean shaven. I got to come correct, which at my previous 3 jobs, if I just showed up, with one eye open, they would be happy to have me. And it was a less caliber job. It just was. Both of them were. Standard, Grandview Cafe, Hadley's. It just, having a body on the floor was what was important, less so than how that person was presented. So having to come correct is a really big, it just it sets you in a mindset. You know what I mean? So I'm working David C. I'm working 3rd and Hollywood. Another thing I start doing is I'm journaling. And this is before I moved out of my apartment and into the house with Tessa and Brian. So journaling, trying to remember that I want to show up every day. I want to be of service to people every day. I want to love every day. I want to make no excuses. I want to get my shit together. I want to get my life together. So all these, ingredients are stirring in the pot. And then the hard day number 2 hits. Auntie Camille's dead. Dad's sick. Dog. Dead dog across the street. Dark day. Hard day. I go home with these tools, with the feelings I have, with the support system I've built with my new friends. Granted, they were 6 months, but, I've had those relationships before, but it's like I just dug deeper roots, you know what I mean? And at the time, I was so open. I'm still pretty open now, but I was just raw, kind of. So I think that really helped. And it's summer. Summer in Columbus is just like silliness. You can drink every day and for some reason still have $10 in your pocket and you don't feel hungover and everybody's out and it's hugs and it's love and it's everywhere and it's an amazing thing. Summer in Columbus, Ohio is no joke. So that helped too. But I think what I was saying is the rawness I think helped me really solidify some relationships rather quickly. And also I don't do a lot of the small talk. I try to kind of dig in kind of quickly. And so that's huge. So yeah, Dad's sick. I come home. We get through it. We get through the funeral. I try not to mention the dog to anybody because I don't want to further bum anybody out. And I get back to Columbus, right? After everything's settled, the dust is, on the ground. Everything's good to go for the most part. I get back to Columbus. Miko from my first episode, from the first run, his episode never got dropped, but he wants to start a co-working space where you also kind of like work together on like a branding type situation called Presco. He invites me to be on and invites me to be kind of the head of the podcasting part of it all. And that happened in August. He invites me, but nothing really comes to fruition. We do a couple runs of like podcasts that weren't really great. You know, it's a learning curve. It's all this. But then in November, I've quit David Stee. I'm just at 3rd and Hollywood. I'm working hard. I'm working like 40 hours a week. I'm loving it. Hanging out with people, making fun things, doing great things, doing photo shoots for, you know, whatever. I'm just doing things. I'm creating things. I'm hanging out with good people. And I guess the next piece of unsolicited advice is you are the 5 people you hang out with most. Your character, your actions all depend on the 5 people you hang out with most. That's a Tim Ferriss thing. And if you think about it, it's huge. If you're going to hang out with people who are playing fucking NBA 2K all day, smoking dope, drinking, snorting, doing whatever they're doing, complaining, nobody's got time for that. Nobody's going to be able to further their lives and better themselves if everybody's always complaining and whining all the time. A lot of, like, so that was one huge thing about 3rd and Hollywood is all those kids who work there, they got to come correct. They're not bringing in that bullshit. You know what I mean? They're not coming in wasted. They're not doing coke behind the dumpster. They have troubles. They have their hard times just like the rest of us, but they're just not bringing it into work. And unfortunately, in the restaurant industry, cocaine behind the dumpster is a reality. You know what I'm saying? As present, they got to keep that shit either really tucked away under the rug, or they just don't bring them into work. And it's an amazing place because there's less complaining, there's less bitchiness, there's nobody's painting a semi-false picture here. It's a restaurant just like anywhere else. We get paid a silly amount to do definitely not complicated work. Of course, there's some bitchiness, but it's just at a very pulled back level. So, good environment. Put myself in a good environment to help get through the hard times. I enjoy thoroughly going to 3rd and Hollywood every day that I do. It's a great place. And then September comes around. Presco ramps up. Again, I'm in a room with good people. I'm in a room with people trying to grind, trying to work, trying to make something. I get to make really cool videos like that first episode. I get to be a part of photo shoots. I get an opportunity to sell again. I'm selling photo booths. I'm selling the studio space. I'm selling just us. Like every time we have a meeting, I'm pitching us. All these feelings are great. I'm selling catering. I'm moving things. And I'm working doubles again. As soon as you start working a lot, it really just like quiets out everything else, because as long as you're doing a job that requires some brain activity, you just don't get time to wallow. You don't have time for that. You got to keep moving. You got to get up. What I'm trying to say is when you're raw and your guard's down due to outside circumstances, it gives you an excellent opportunity to just dig a little deeper and really try to level up, 10x, be better, do better. All the other cliche sayings, connect more, love harder, all that. And it's an opportunity to try in a new way that you haven't tried before. I think learning, to recap all the unsolicited advice for the day, do new things, do new people, learn, stay busy, work out, self-talk, hang out with new people, hang out with good people. Don't hang out with people who are going to bring you down. Another advice, be careful of what content you put in your ear. If you play sad songs that remind you of your ex-girlfriend, James Taylor, for example, you will just feel more sad. If you play good podcasts, funny podcasts, watch good television that's uplifting, watch YouTube videos of, Matthew McConaughey's Oscar acceptance speech, for example, make good art, which is a commencement speech by, the name escapes me. Listen to some positive Joe Rogan motivational nonsense. Whatever other positive influences you can find on the YouTube, on the Netflix, on the podcast, even music. You feeling down? Play some Drake. You feeling down? Play some Bruno Mars. Play some exciting shit. I don't personally listen to Bruno Mars. I know it sounds like I do now, but he's got some bangers. Listen to some Cardi B. Listen to some Nicki Minaj. Feel like a boss bitch. Feel like a mover and a shaker. Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it might be the best piece of advice. On this first real advice giving, unsolicited advice. The world knocks you down, and it knocks you down usually in like the rule of threes, right? Things tend to build up and collapse all at the same time because that just seems to be how life goes. But it also means that you get a lot of time before the next knockdown. You get a lot of time to get stronger. You get a lot of time to practice and be ready and develop in between big hits. If you calculate that and you're like, all right, shit sucks. 6 months, probably shit will suck again. Let's go. Let's go hard right now. Let's build the road. Let's build the foundation so that in 6 months when something hits again, it won't hurt as bad. Or it'll hurt more. And I'll learn from that too. And you just got to keep going. I can't stress that enough. I know keep going it sounds vague, but I mean in the sense of just stay moving. Work doubles. Quit your job. Get a new job. Get a shittier job so you know that you don't ever want to work at a bar. I never want to be a bartender again. For my whole life, for my whole little serving career here, I've like, ooh, bartender. I'll be so majestic behind the bar, making drinks sound so cool. I'll get girls. I'll be a stud back there. I'll be like a hero. No, I fucking hate bartending. I don't like standing still. You have to do so much more work than a server. You don't get a break. You're always on. You don't get to like run. You don't get to like kiss ass at a table and then run back behind the counter, behind the server station and, talk shit. You got to be on point for like the whole shift. Who wants to do that at work? Nuh-uh. I need time to dilly-daddle, make jokes, flirt with waitresses. Can't be just standing behind a bar. Nuh-uh, not for me. But I would have never known that had I not quit Grandview Cafe, where I was no prospects of being a bartender, and given it a try. There's something about trying new things and working at new places that's so romantic. Like, you have to make new friends that you work with. You have to get to learn new things. Every shift is exciting at first. And by the end of a year, you're just kind of, as soon as I start to feel like it's just, day in and day out, I quit. Now, granted, I don't suggest that. I'd probably be much further in some kind of career field. But also, I know a bunch of things that I don't like. I don't like retail. I don't like bartending. Actually, I love working at a hardware store, which I guess is retail. But at a hardware store, every day is different. You're solving problems. You're finding out how to help a guy get his toilet to flush. You're finding out what kind of light bulbs people need. I used to work at an antique store. You get to move around antiques. Good job. Delivery job. Fun job. I've been a food delivery guy. I worked for Cafe Carrier, which is just like Postmates, but more fucking depressing. Hated that. First job, fun story. That was the first job I ever no-called, no-showed. I was working at the mall, and I'd get off at the mall. I'd have like an hour to get home and eat, and then I'd go to Cafe Carrier to deliver food to agoraphobics. And it was nice out. All I wanted to do was work out. The night before, I got off and spent like $90 at the bar and blacked out and threw up the next morning because I just wanted to party and not think about work. The next day, I'm hungover. I'm sick of it. It's so nice out. All I want to do is work out in my backyard. I turn off my phone. I work out for like 2 hours. Do I regret no calling, no showing? Not really. I know I don't want to sit in my car all day and deliver food, which also takes away a lot of other jobs. Truck driving, it's a well-paying job. Traveling salesman, not doing it. I'm not staying in the car all day, driving around to customer to customer. It ain't happening, people. And the only way you know that is by trying. So, just reiterating things at this point, kind of getting ranty. Try new things. Just keep moving. Keep on keeping on. In the words of Matthew McConaughey, you got to have something to look up to, you got to have something to look forward to, and you got to have something to chase. And I'm chasing the optimistic entrepreneur type, maybe movie star, whatever it is. I'm chasing, and whatever that means, I'm chasing it. And I'm always looking forward to friends, family, and I'm always looking up to just a lot of people who I admire. Yeah, a bunch of people. I have a bunch of people I look up to and that I look forward to, and I have something pretty good to chase. So before I wrap up here, I just want to say just thank you to everybody who made this year really great. Despite some of the hardships, it was truly an amazing year. I'll explain more about Presco, Justin, Sammy, and Liam and Brian and Christina. I'll explain all more about them later this month. Because they deserve full episodes, if you ask me. And probably do one with my brother. I'm so excited. So excited to start 2019 in a good place, because there's a lot of people less fortunate who maybe aren't starting off where I'm fortunate enough to be. I love y'all. Thanks for listening. Hope that was the most preachy I've ever really been to the public. And I listened to it again when I edited it, and I'm redoing the ending now. I just thought the only way to really convey this was to give some unsolicited advice. And it was nothing groundbreaking. It's nothing that nobody who's ever gone through a breakup or a hard time before hasn't heard. But sometimes hearing things again helps reiterate them, helps cement them in your brain. All right, I'm actually going this time. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Thanks. Have a good night. Enjoy. Bye-bye. How many more times can I say it? Shut up, Jacob. Hang up.
I'm not always right. I'm only trying to be nice with my unsolicited advice. Unsolicited advice.